Hey everybody, in this video, you're gonna learn how to improve cold email deliverability on a high level, and you're also gonna learn how to do an email deliverability audit so you can actually know what you need to fix. And if you stay until the end, I'm also gonna give you a cold email deliverability checklist that's gonna make your work way easier, and you're gonna know exactly what you need to do in order to improve your email deliverability. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Patrick Spielman. I'm the founder at Uptics, which helps you launch and manage all of your outbound campaigns, including cold email, cold calling, LinkedIn outreach, and lead nurturing, all in one place. And it also helps you with better email deliverability with our smart sending algorithms. Now, let's dive into the video and let me show you some ninja techniques to improve your cold email deliverability. All right, so let's get started. Ultimately, I'm going to show you how to please the email gods, never have issues with deliverability, and always land in the primary inbox, not the spam, not the promotion folder. All right, so really, what is email deliverability? Okay, that's the first thing you need to understand. I'm not sure what level of experience you're on, but email deliverability is just your ability to land in the primary inbox of the recipient, not the promo tab, not the spam folder, okay? And really, email deliverability comes down to building a dam, all right? So it's gonna take multiple strategies stacked one on top of another. And if anyone tells you you just need to do this one thing for email deliverability, make sure you land in the inbox, they're dead wrong, okay? So you gotta do multiple strategies. And if you don't do this, you're gonna ultimately be building a house of cards. All right, so my biggest warning to you is to never send cold emails from your real company domain. So Uptics company domain, our core domain, if you go to the website, uptics.io, that's our core domain, uptics.io. We do not send cold emails from uptics.io, okay? The problem with doing that is that your chances of landing in spam and burning your domain are almost 100%, okay? Especially over time. If you're sending any sort of volume whatsoever with cold email, you're gonna end up in spam. And it's not because necessarily you're spamming people, it's because the email algorithms have gotten really smart at detecting automation. So it's really just a matter of time. And what you're typically used to doing is, let's just say however many emails you're sending, you got your core, bulk of emails, the 900 will make sense later on. All right. And you're sending them all from one domain. That's a big problem, and you're going to end up in no man's land, right? Here's a Gmail spam inbox, which, of course, as you know, nobody checks, and if you check it, you don't reply. Once in a while, maybe you're, a buddy or something like that, or a friend or a colleague, or, you notice they land in here, but you don't go and reply to people in this box, right? And if you do that, you're going to be basically screwed with cold email. All right, so what's the solution? The solution is domain distribution. All right, if you've heard of a concept called burner domains or synonym domains, what we're essentially doing is we're taking that same sending volume that you had, and we're going to spread it across multiple domains. Okay, not your core domain, multiple burner domains. And what this is going to do is drastically reduce your problems of landing in spam. And again, it's just a matter of time if you're doing any sort of volume with cold email that you are going to land in spam. Ultimately, what we want to do is we want to focus on getting results, not having problems. All right. Now, to piggyback on that, there's a concept called sending distribution, very similar to domain distribution. So let's take those same 900 sends, and we're splitting them across multiple domains: domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to create multiple inboxes for every single domain. So I recommend doing at least 3 inboxes for every domain. I'll build on this on the next slide. Okay, so if you have 3 domains, and this is what I recommend doing with our strategy specifically, if you're doing anywhere from a heavily personalized to a fully automated approach, which you should be doing by doing proper list building, that's a topic for another day, you should have 3 domains and at least 9 inboxes. So this is going to further reduce your chances of landing in spam even more. Again, less problems we have, the more we can focus on getting results. We can focus on our copy, what is the best call to action, how to write our emails, building better lead lists, all that kind of stuff, instead of dealing with domain deliverability issues. Okay, so that's sending distribution. Now, how should you structure it? So to give an example, our 3 domains, domain A, B, C, you're going to buy burner domains. For example, you might have a .com, a .co, or .io. Here's an Uptics example. Pat at getuptics.com, getuptics.co. getuptics.io. All right. So all of those are, different domains. Okay. And then we have email A, email B, email C. So you might have Pat, Dan, Eric. Okay. So we have 9 domains for 3 different, or 9 emails for 3 different domains. Okay. All right. The next step, once you have those domains, you need to set up your DNS records appropriately. Okay. Now, this is a nerdy little thing, and I'm going to give you a checklist here at the end, but you need to set up your MX records, your DKM records, SPF records, and DMARC records. These 4 here are DNS records you absolutely have to have set up. And if you're using a system like Uptics, Uptics helps detect and validate that all these are set up properly for you. Okay. So there's a lot of resources and stuff like that. And some of our programs we have, that show people exactly how to set this kind of stuff. But if you don't do this, you are not going to be able to land in the inbox, and you're going to have email deliverability issues, and you're probably going to give up on cold emailing and think it doesn't work and move on to the next growth hack. And you're going to get stuck in this constant pattern of trying things and trying new things and having to learn a whole new thing over and over and over again. So these are super, super important. The last piece, which is mission critical, is when you set up new domains, you got to do a concept called domain warming. What domain warming is it's how you establish your sending reputation for a new domain so that the email client providers recognize you as a trusted sender, essentially. Okay. Ultimately, they're not used to seeing these email client providers like Gmail, right? Microsoft, Yahoo, whoever, right? They're not used to seeing emails getting sent from your domain or even your IP address. So what they're going to do is automatically essentially put you right into the spam box. So what domain warming, and at the time of this recording, Uptics is in the process of building this, but by the time you're actually seeing this, we might actually even have the product that does this for you automatically. Hey, sorry for interrupting the content here. If you're really loving the video, I'd love if you'd like it, comment on the video. It really helps the algorithm. And if you want to get future videos from us, smash that subscribe button and you'll get an alert every time I launch a new video. I'd really appreciate it. Now back to the content. The next thing after warming, there's some sending keys to success to ensure that you are landing in the inbox. Okay, the biggest thing outside of those domains and having the DNS records set up is your volume. You want to make sure that your volume is at 100 or less email sends per email address. Okay, the less the better. And so on the previous slide, I talked about having 3 email accounts for every domain. You could have more. The more you split your sending across several inboxes and lowering your volume per inbox, the better. Okay, that's the best case scenarios. You do that, and a system like Uptics helps you manage this. Okay. The next is something called a custom tracking domain. Okay, so you know how you can track your open rates or your click rates? You don't really want to be doing clicks with cold email, but basically the way systems like Uptics do this is we insert a tracking pixel in there. And by default, systems like Uptics put in a default generic tracking pixels that uses our domain. The reason why is because these custom tracking pixels need to be able to customize them. We need to use your domain. So you need to enter, and it takes about 2 minutes, a record in your DNS settings to point these custom tracking pixels at your domain. So when you send your email, those tracking pixels have your domain and not our domain. This helps increase your deliverability. Okay, so this is super, super important. And if you're using a system that doesn't do this, then I would recommend using a system that does. For example, for domain tracking, essentially all you do in a system like ours is you go into your DNS provider, you enter a CNAME record, enter the name up here, and then the value uptics.online. You toggle this on, and then we're going to automatically check those DNS records, the DKM, SPF, DMARC records, to ensure that they're valid and everything's good to go. So super easy. The next big piece is distribution, that sending distribution and spreading the sending load. We already talked about a little bit, but you need to use a system that actually helps you do this automatically. And not to plug up Uptics too much here, but Uptics does this for you automatically. Okay, so this is a really, really big feature. Essentially what it does is it takes these domains, right, these email accounts, and you can build one sequence and you can associate multiple email accounts to it, and it will automatically rotate the sending between these different accounts. All right, so let me show you a quick example. So in a system like Uptics, you're going to have a feature where there's going to be a send email from, and you can pick all your burner domains. So basically in our system, we've got a drop down, and you can pick pretty much any domain that you want, right? And what the system is going to do, if you enroll 100 people and you've got 300 emails per sequence, for instance, it's going to rotate this the enrollment of each person from each one of those domains, and including the follow-up emails, they're going to basically come from the same email that the original send was from, but it's going to rotate automatically between these domains, so it's going to spread that load for you automatically. The next thing that you can do to help you with sending cold email is using content rotation, or a term called syntax. Basically what it is it rotates the content in your email so that the email client providers don't see that you're sending the same email template over and over and over and over again. Okay, I could do a whole class on just syntax, but this is one of those things that if you're doing any sort of email volume, just rotating a few words in your email, and again, a system like Uptics is going to do this for you automatically, where you can create multiple words. Let's just give you a stupid, simple example. Let's just say you open up an email with, "Hey, Patrick," right? You could swap out the word "hey" with "hi." And you could take that concept and do it for pretty much anything. So if you write your cold email in sentences, right, you could actually create dynamic sentences for each sentence of your cold email that rotate. Now you can keep the topic, of course, the same, but you can slightly vary the variations of your verbiage in your email, and this is going to help create thousands and thousands, almost unlimited variations of your email that actually help you with email deliverability. Okay, let me just show you a quick example here in Uptick. So this is what an email with syntax looks like. So you've got your email template and you write an initial sentence, but when you right click over the content, you can write multiple variations. So what it does then is the system just rotates each send. So every recipient, it's going to rotate each one of these variations. And you can do that concept for individual words. You can do it for entire sentences, so on and so forth. It's really, really simple, where, again, if we use the example, "Hi," you just highlight it, you hit syntax, you add a variation, you say "hey," and you click save. And now you've got your different variations here. The next thing, and this we could have probably put a little bit sooner in the list here, is validation. Okay, so you should be using a system to validate, to ensure the validity of every single email address that you're sending to. And since you're doing cold email, you don't want to be sending to anything other than a valid email address. Okay, so essentially there's complete systems out there that do just this one thing. A system like Uptics, we've built this into our platform to do it automatically for you, so you're not exporting, importing lists, doing all that kind of stuff. And we have some pretty strict parameters on how we validate emails, because a lot of these systems are actually doing a lot of guesswork with their validations. And ultimately what that can do is cause you to have a lot of email bounces and ultimately end up landing in spam a lot sooner, and you don't want to do that. So you need to make sure that you validate your email addresses, every single email, and making sure you're not emailing people that don't have valid email accounts. Okay, so another quick example here. So email validations, all you got to do in a system like Uptics is turn this on, and it'll automatically validate every single new contact coming into the system. You don't have to export, import lists. And then you can tell the system what codes you want to allow it to send to, and you can apply the rules to bulk email or your sequences automatically. Super simple. So now we're getting into even a little bit micro, a little bit more nerdy of the email process, right? To make sure we land in the inbox. Formatting is the next thing. So literally everything with your emails matter, okay? The formatting, bullets, bolding, italics, the size of the font. You want to keep your emails as plain Jane as humanly possible. Okay, this does include your email signature as well. Placing images and stuff like that, it's not a good best practice for cold email, okay? Next, it might surprise you, but inserting those tracking pixels actually hurts your email deliverability. Now, I'm just as addicted to tracking my open rates, and it is getting harder to track open rates, but ultimately what you should be focused on is getting replies. And getting a reply doesn't actually require these tracking pixels to even be in the email. But we all like these things, right? Because it helps give us signals to see, the health of our campaigns and all that kind of stuff. So if there's one violation that you make in this, having that custom tracking pixel isn't a bad thing, but make sure it's the custom tracking pixel and not the company's or the software that you're using. Make sure it's not their tracking pixel, because that doesn't really help you out. The next thing is you don't want to include links in your email. Okay, this includes like Calendly booking links and stuff like that. So don't put links in your email, because this is another red flag to the email client providers that you absolutely don't want to have. Okay, so it's best not to use these, even if you're trying to book meetings. You don't want to be trying to book meetings in your initial emails anyway. You just want to get a reply. This will help your deliverability long term, because the client providers will see that people are replying to your emails. And so putting links in there and just expecting somebody to book isn't really going to work anyway. And then it also is a damaging effect on your email deliverability. All right. The next are the words that you put into your email so that it actually matter. So there's words that you can say that trigger spam traps. All right. And again, a system like Uptics is going to help you detect those words and ensure that you can mitigate those as much as possible. Now, unfortunately, there's not a universal list of spam words that the email client providers just, willy-nilly hand out. Unfortunately, it's sort of built on an industry professionals creating lists and all that kind of stuff. So the last one here is don't send attachments in your email. Okay. Again, we want to keep our emails as plain Jane as humanly possible, and especially don't attach zip files and stuff like that. That's really bad. We absolutely don't want to do that. Okay. At the beginning of the video, I said that I would give you a checklist. So that checklist is actually a link in the descriptions, and also I'll give you the PDF of this presentation here so you can review it. So I hope that is helpful for you. All right, so that's the end of the video. And since you stayed until the end, I'm guessing you want to level up your sales outreach and fill your calendar with as many appointments as you possibly can. And since that's the case, I'd love for you to check out Uptics, of course, which helps you manage all of this. But as a gift first, before you do that, I want you to check out this cold email masterclass I did on how to cold email like a pro. That's going to show you exactly a strategy, 3-tiered strategy, including some of this email deliverability stuff on how we cold email, how I did it for my outbound agency, and how we do it for Uptics to flood our calendars with as many appointments as possible. So I'm going to put a video here up on the screen where you can click that link, you can watch the video, and then at the end of the video, if it sounds like that Uptics is a good solution for you, then there's going to be an opportunity to hop on a call with us, and we can talk about your situation and see if we can help you grow your sales even more. Otherwise, feel free to check out Uptics at uptics.io. Again, appreciate you watching this video. Hope it was helpful, and we'll see you soon.